Hey, hi, and hello. My name is Jerusalem Truth. I'm an artist, tarot reader, business owner, woo lady, and hoodoo baby. And I would love to give you a very personal welcome to this here channel, Temperance Apothecary. This is the YouTube extension of my already existing business, Temperance Apothecary, where I sell candles and body butters with new releases coming very, very soon. So make sure you follow us on Instagram to stay abreast of that information. I also offer personal, private readings on general life forecasts, love and romance, as well as career and development for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And I have a special customized artistic and creative reading, particularly for our entrepreneurs, aspiring or emerging creatives and artists, or anyone who just really is ready to invest and get into how they curate their own creativity. If any of that sounds of interest to you, I do 45-minute and 90-minute readings for those, and all of that information is available down below. Thank you so much in advance for checking that out, and let's get into today's messages. So today is our monthly what is the energy giving for the next 30 days. Though whenever you find this reading, it is timeless and meant for you. There's definitely some messages in here for you. But to kick us off, we're actually going to start with some channeled collective messages I got just sitting here a few moments before starting the camera. And the first thing I heard quite literally were helicopters. There were helicopters passing the area that I'm in, so that may be important or relevant to someone. Celebration by Kool and the Gang also is another one. And not just for that song, which is a really amazing song if you have not heard it, but also I have been rewatching One Tree Hill, a early 2000s teen rom-com sitcom situation. So if you are also doing that, this message is in alignment. That in the show, one of the characters, Peyton, was asked what's her least favorite song or what's her worst memory with the song. And it's actually Celebration by Kool and the Gang, because that's what was playing in the hospital when her mother passed away. So if any of that is relevant or resonates with you, I'm sending you so much love and light. And I would like to tell everyone else, maybe if that doesn't resonate specifically, that Celebration, at least as it's coming up in my mind in the month of April, looks like juxtaposition, because life is both. The same character, Peyton, was told by one of her moms, it's a long story, there is nothing to be afraid of. It's just life, right? Life is both. So April and the energy and forecasting, if you will, of the month is asking us to meet life for what it is, which is both good and bad. It's highs and lows, it's beginnings and endings. April is also a 5-month numerologically, so it's a time of transition, which brings me to the next channeled message I got. Thinking of the number 5, it's one of my favorite numbers. It actually is my favorite number, I'm pretty sure. I heard twisted, but not in the, well, I heard it a couple different ways. It could apply a couple different ways, take what resonates. But I heard twisted as in, twisted, how contradicted, keep him addicted, lies on his lips, I lick it, from Alien Superstar. And I heard twisted as in, is it Twisted Sister, Wicked Sister? One of the two, I am unsure. But if you know, then you know. Either way, I am hearing that it is time for a quick change, right? If you have been in theater or performed musically or just been in a circumstance or environment where you have to do something quickly, you have to practice over and over and over and over. And it's not so quick the first time you do it. But by the time you get to performance time or curtains up, hopefully you have gotten down to such a routine that you could, boom, quick change. And it's not even a second thought. It's just become rote. So in April, we are experiencing a quick change in how we perform and show up. And last but not least, I channel a lot of music songs, if you will. I'm an artist, as I mentioned, a musician, rather, so that makes a lot of sense. You probably are as well. And even if you're not, welcome. You are creative because you have been created, so do with that what you will. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout. I don't know if you know that song, but it's like a very teeny bopper 50s, shake it up, baby, shake it up, baby. Like you literally twist and shout to it. So maybe that's relevant to someone. I'm hearing sirens and my timer just went off. So take that as confirmation or just meditate and sit with those messages, right? And last but not least, now that you've gotten to the bottom of the leaks, you can get on with it. That was a message I got specifically from my personal tarot deck. And by my personal tarot deck, I mean the deck I use to do readings for myself. I did keep that personal and private because of course, but still asked what are some messages I can share with the collective. Now, using the decks I do for these readings, which is the Modern Witch Tarot deck, I would like to let's flip these over first of all. We've got so many faced up, which is not normal. So maybe that's something. Let's see, Spirit. Get these all sorted. But may I get a few cards? Get 3 or 4 cards from this deck on the collective energy of the month. Actually, can I get 4 cards? We'll do week by week. So just 2 more cards, Spirit. And 1 more card. Oh, wow. All right. The Queen of Swords came flipped out for week 2. So that should be interesting. Okay, let's get a little more detail. I'm using the Neo Tarot deck on the energy forecast and monthly collective message for April, for the next couple of weeks, rather. Very quick. 5 of Wands on the bottom. Quick change. It's go time. But let's get started. Flipping over the first one, we have 7 of Wands, Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, 6 of Pentacles. You put your back into you put your back into it this April. That's what I'm hearing. But let me not get ahead of myself. The first row, which I use the Modern Witch Tarot, is what is the general kind of peek into the energy I did week to week, so for the next 4 weeks. And then for the Neo Tarot deck, as you saw, I shuffled and just wanted some more specific energy, kind of pinpoints, things to bring up. First thing that comes to mind, as I said, is you are putting your back into it. I haven't even touched the second row. I'm just looking at the Modern Witch Tarot. And if you notice, I'm laughing. I'm very visibly and even like physically and sensationally giddier. Like this feels really funny, which April might feel like the kind of energy where so many different people have said it in so many different instances, but what I'm hearing is, oh, you think I'm crazy? I'll show you crazy. And I get that because, like I said, we start with the 7 of Wands, and these are for the next 4 weeks, give or take. Like, of course, energy is flexible and reality is malleable. But what I am picking up and interpreting in this time, at least in the next week or so, is you ain't letting nobody play. Okay, this does make sense as we are entering Aries season sidereally. Aries season begins April 14th, my birthday. But as we lead up to that time, you are experiencing a resolution within yourself, a conviction within yourself that you are proceeding into the next couple of weeks. This also makes sense that we're at the top of a new month. You are resolving that you're leaving what has happened and what has transpired in the past. What I'm noticing as well when I look at these cards is that the 7 of Wands is defensive, right? She has her wand and is protecting herself from these sticks, or it even looks like she's built up a little fence or a gate around herself, but she's not stuck, right? She is very much just like, hey, give me 50 feet. But she's looking downward, which, first of all, clock that T. Coming off the 6 of Wands, you already have your success. There's nothing for you to prove. Today, I actually did a reading for the daily energy forecast, and what came up was the idea that folks maybe I don't want to say sending evil eye, but folks may be, as they are looking around and considering how we're already in April, we're already 4 months into this new year, that they might not be who they thought they'd be, or they may not be operating, moving, believing in the things they thought they'd believe, or existing the way they thought they'd exist at this point in time. And sometimes rather than focusing that energy on themselves, they turn that outward and to the people around them, and that brings them comfort, right? It may bring you harm or distress, but to them it's comforting to say, oh, look, you ain't did what you said you were gonna do either. Great, we're in it together. But the month of April, you ain't going for that. You, especially in these next 1 to 2 weeks, we have the Seven of Wands into the Queen of Swords. First of all, they're looking ahead. They're either looking down, which is to say that they are over it. They are protecting themselves from people, places, and things that they have graduated from, that they have evolved from. The Six of Wands is the card of success. It also is a card of motion and transformation, right? You're on the other side of the Five of Wands. You won the battle. You're going off by yourself. And I think it's worthy to note that both of these cards are looking ahead or looking distantly. So you have the Seven of Wands, which kicks us off at the beginning of the next 4 weeks, into the Queen of Swords. You're putting up your defenses and you're checking who needs to be checked. You're checking your math thrice, actually, and you're deciding, hey, here's what I will accept. I've been pointing this out a lot because the Queen of Swords has been coming up a lot. That is one of my personal ancestors and spirit guides, Grand Mir. So love you. Shout out to you when the ancestors show up. But you are saying yes, and you may proceed. You're not letting other people come and project and put what they want onto you in these next upcoming weeks. And again, that makes sense with sidereal Aries season starting. And in that third week, we're in that Queen of Wands energy. You have transmuted the fire, the passion, the defensiveness that you had to put on those first 1 or 2 weeks where you were clearing the weeds, cutting the grass as well from Q1 and the holdovers from 2025 and the holdovers from winter. And you are getting very, very clear, very, very resolute, and very, very curt is the word that I'm hearing about what you will and won't accept from yourself and others. And you are naming that and you are claiming that. The Queen of Swords does not explain herself. Not because she can't, and not because she doesn't want to, but because she does not have to. When you have earned your clarity, when you have earned your position, when you have earned your elevation, you don't have to speak, prove, acknowledge, show, not a goddamn thing to nobody. You hear me? That's not what April is for. And in fact, after you have beat the devil back, frankly, and set some boundaries with yourself and others, that's when you come into your Queen of Wands energy. And I think that is just so beautiful because it is coupled with, right? If Seven of Wands and Queen of Swords are week 1 and 2, the third and fourth week are the Queen of Wands and Six of Pentacles. You are turning a page where you're able to take that fire that you had to quick zap somebody with, maybe burn them a little bit, just some quick, you know, you don't want to hurt them too much, but you gotta let them know. And after you set your boundaries and said what you needed to say, meant what you said, you're now able to face all that is good and all that is beautiful and all that is magical that is not only available to you, but coming towards you. Because that's the thing. The Queen of Swords comes before the Queen of Wands in this instance. It looks as if she's almost like, all right, you can bring it in. In my mind, I'm seeing movers, right? April is a 5-month, a time of movement, motion, if you will. It's almost like she's beckoning them into the castle. All right, bring it over here. Thank you. Place that there, put that there. And the Queen of Wands is the one that makes it homey. And that might not be the typical association with the Queen of Wands or fire in general, but let's be clear, fire, especially again, Aries season, makes total sense in this instance. One, it's literally the hearth. The fire signs come first in the elemental breakdown of the astrological year because you need light and it's warm, right? Fire can burn, fire can scorch, but fire also protects and preserves and nurtures, right? So the Queen of Swords is the one kind of cutting the grass, clearing the girls, if you will. And then the Queen of Wands says, okay, and now I can set up shop here. Now I can root here. Now I can, you see this little black cat? The Queen of Wands doesn't have a pet, right? Neither does the Seven of Wands. They're a little too busy. They got other stuff to worry about. But the Queen of Wands has her companion. So in the next upcoming weeks, collective, you definitely can expect to call forth the same warmth that you have put out. You're able to transmute the fire and the passion that you needed to really shake the table, and in some cases flip the table, and now you are able to give. You're able to give, right? I think it's so interesting that we start with a 7 but end on a 6 in a completely different suit, and it's the suit of resources. It's the suit of foundation, of material. And I think that's symbolic, right? You're taking maybe the fire. I just heard forged by fire. In April, it's not so much that you're being forged by fire in a traumatic or dramatic way, but you are forging your own spine by fire. You are setting yourself straight and allowing that energy to reverberate out into the people, places, and spaces that you occupy. And then from that place, you are able to sit with yourself, acknowledge your own fire, light your own candle, and then give to others from that space of warmth as well as receive. So that is what I immediately see and am interpreting for what you can expect in the next couple of weeks, what energy is coming up for us as a collective. And now with this second row of Neo Tarot deck cards, we're just going to get a little more in depth and see if there's any messages we looked over. Yeah, this makes total sense. That's hilarious. I love when the cards speak to each other. Yeah, so the Seven of Wands is clarified, or the card that came out underneath it is the Emperor reverse. You are dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and you're really having to be diligent about it. You are focused in such a way that maybe it seems defensive or a little chaotic to others, but to you, and especially looking ahead to this Queen of Swords clarified by the Page of Cups, it's actually coming from a very pure place. It's coming from a place of wanting better. So you do better, right? I'm also thinking of the Seven of Wands following the Six of Wands. You've tasted the success. You have seen what you can create for yourself. Even with the Emperor, the card that comes before the Emperor is the Empress. That's the mother, that's the nurturer, that's the beginning, the creator, right? And the Emperor is, in my mind, the stabilizer. They're the one who says, all right, now that we've brought this into the world, how do we sustain it? How do we maintain it? And with it being reversed here, it feels like you are adamant about protecting the wins you've had thus far. And that's so funny. I have my Aries lighter on my desk and suddenly I wanted to grab it. I will sometimes just flick a light. So, hey, fellow Aries, I've called this up. But you are adamant about the wins that you have won, about tending to the fire that you have. And frankly, it might not even be about other people, right? I do still believe there could be some tension with others as far as people maybe being shocked by seeing how hard that you're going. But all of these cards, with the exception of the Five of Pentacles reverse, which we'll get to, are solo dolo. All of these cards are one-on-one. So it makes me think that April is a month of, I heard independence, integration, and interrogation all at once. And they all wanted to come out like one new word. So integration, innovation, independence. And I heard inspiration. So a lot of introspective energy, but you're being dogmatic about it. You're being strategic, but with a side of, and let's get into the second card now. You're being strategic in how you are setting up and curating and sustaining what you have created. And you're being protective of it because you know that it is just such a pure little seed of an idea, the Page of Cups, right? They're at the beginning of their journey. They have this glass with a fish in it, and they seem to be just peering at it very contemplative. They're peering at it thoughtfully. And I think there's something to be said about the Queen of Swords being at least on top of that, in that you have this new thing, this new way of being, this new chapter, this new page you've turned that's in your heart and in your feelings. And in order to bring that down into reality, you are being asked as the Queen of Swords to really get clear, right? And to really, what did I say? Cut the grass. And even thinking of these wands, you got to cut down some of these wands, because the way to win actually isn't hoarding and keeping all these things to yourself and keeping everybody out, even though capitalism and white supremacy will try to make you think so. It's actually about preservation. And it is a collaborative effort, but it's not going to take as long as you think. And it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience than you think. You have the Queen of Wands with the Knight of Pentacles underneath. This isn't so much about time. Like I said, this isn't a slow time. We just came out of a 4-month astrologically. We just came out of a 4-month numerologically. At this current time, if you're watching it when I release it, this is Pisces going into Aries season, or maybe we're just in a mutable to cardinal transition whenever you do happen to be watching this video. But you're getting some get up to you. It's definitely moving, and it's moving at a pace you are setting because of the work that you are doing with this Queen of Swords energy. Like I said, you have transmuted the Seven of Wands kind of defensiveness where you're like, ooh, okay, I got the thing. What do I got to do to keep it? Ooh, you don't have to try that hard, okay? You already got it, which means that you can maintain it. If you weren't ready for it, you wouldn't have it. And if you've done it before, you can do it again. You can build it again. You can succeed again. You will win again. That is inevitable. Sometimes it is just the perspective. Sometimes the win isn't the big thing, but like I said, the small little tiny win that you have. An example that just came to mind as I'm looking at it, these two items, this blanket and this pillow here on my couch, are wins for me. My couch is a win for me. I had been talking about getting a couch for months. I was very picky. The couch that I wanted ended up completely selling out. I wasn't sure what I was going to get. I had a very specific length, vision, and fabric in mind. Like, this color is not a very common couch color. And then one day I found a couch bigger than I even wanted, but better fitting my space in the color that I wanted and the fabric that I wanted. And I was able to get it on sale. Then my cousin was coming to stay with me. I wanted a blanket for her. I go into Marshall's. I'm hesitant because, again, this is a very unique color. I find the perfect complimentary blanket, and it's huge. So you can sleep with it, you can put it on bed, you can put it on the couch, obviously. And then this heart pillow was a treat to myself that I got 2 Valentine's Days ago, before the Target boycott, because I used to run it up in Target for Valentine's Day decor. But I say all that to say, I clearly was called to share that with you for some reason. Take the small wins and allow those to stack up. And let those be your motivators in how you then proceed and go forward. And it's not about speed, it's a marathon, okay? But it is about self-possession, and it is about reminding yourself you are ready, powerful, and I heard possessed, self-possessed in a way that only you can be. Another thing I wanted to point out about this Queen of Wands, I just noticed they may be experiencing vitiligo, I believe. The skin condition is called, but effectively it has different folks who experience it have different levels of pigmentation in different areas of their body and skin. And a lot of people have had it. Winnie Harlow, who is most common or most famous, I should say, Michael Jackson. There is my timer, so I will wrap this up. But say all that to say, the Queen of Wands, especially with this Knight of Pentacles reversed underneath it, is saying that as you start to embrace who you are, where you are, and how you are, and the ways in which you have committed to moving forward to the best of your ability in your best and highest light, that's when you're able to give from the overflow. Like, what are the odds we get the 5 of Pentacles reversed in one deck and the 6 of Pentacles answering it in both, closing out their respective spreads, right? You are moving from a space where you don't need others to pour into you or to affirm you or really even support you, right? Which sounds like a crazy thing to say, and not in an individualistic way, but in a self-determining way. That's the word. April is a month of self-determination, and it is a month of self-preservation, but not in a putting up walls and calling them boundaries way, but in a getting really clear and really honest on saying, I want what I want. I actually have gotten a taste of it, whether it's a new job, it's a better living situation, it's a relationship, it can be really, it seems like positions of leadership, right? It seems like you have being placed on a pedestal in a spotlight. People are asking more of you. You are expecting more of yourself. And as a result, you're not playing. But that's all coming from a place of purity. And that's all coming from a genuine desire in your heart to actualize the sweetness, the dreams, I just heard honey, the purity, the joy that is in your heart and that's on your mind and that the world needs right now. So as you are committing to the journey of sustaining and protecting what it is you have and what it is you are working toward, you are also allowing the pleasure of doing that, the sensuality that really oozes from you as you are creating and building and tending to your own fire to light you up and to then give and receive from others with that same fervor. So if that at all resonates with you for the month of April, please make sure you subscribe, comment down below anything that resonated with you or anything else that may come up, and like this video. It would very much help this channel. Again, I offer personal readings for 30 minutes or 60 minutes for general life forecasts, love and romance, and career and development, as well as custom 45-minute and 90-minute readings for creativity. Thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next video. Have a wonderful next couple of weeks and Happy New Year. Bye. Oh my goodness. April ain't coming to play neither, okay? Because I just went to end the reading and I went to pick up my phone. And right as I saw a message, which funny enough was about tarot. So clearly the energies and the auras in the air are letting people know I'm at the deck. I'm at my desk. I forgot to do our affirmation for the month, this collective reading. Ooh, all right, we got 1, let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, this one flipped out. I am a whole ass vibe. And my camera is dying. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. I am a whole ass vibe. Say it with me. I am a whole ass vibe. Okay. Then we have my soul is a lighthouse that will help others find their way. And I recognize and stand in my power more and more every day. And ending on a rhyme, that's how you know is sweet, okay? Our affirmations for the month of April are, I am a whole ass vibe. My soul is a lighthouse that will help others find their way. And I recognize and stand in my power more and more every day. I know that's right. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I will see you all in my next video and we will talk very soon. Bye. For real this time.